Fearless Female Journalist is part of the Women's Hall of Fame series published by Second Story Press, and it covers the stories of 10 different women in journalism. It was important to me that all different types of journalism be represented. So it starts with a woman in the 1800s who ran an abolitionist newspaper. She became the first black woman editor in North America. And it finishes with a woman in South Africa who wrote a blog. In between, you meet people like Margaret Bourke-White, who was at the forefront of photojournalism as a craft. You also meet broadcasters, and you meet women in sports journalism. I decided we had to have sports journalism in there because the world of sports journalism now for women is somewhere to me back in the 1950s. Another woman in the book is one of Canada's gold standards to me of journalism, Barbara Frum. Barbara Frum was part of a show called The Journal. She was brave and she was strong, and I find that young girls like to hear her story because she overcame so much. She had a damaged arm from childbirth that never quite worked properly. And then at the height of her career, in her mid-30s, she was diagnosed with leukemia and told that she only had a year to live. She lived another 18 years doing incredible journalism in Canada, and I think we all still miss her. Farida Nekzad, who's an Afghan woman who's in the media. I chose Farida partly because she was friends with a woman who ran a radio station in Afghanistan after the Taliban left, who was murdered. I wanted to tell the story of someone who was a survivor. Farida had left Afghanistan when the Taliban came in. She came back to help rebuild her country, and she continues to work in journalism because the stories of women in that country are important to her. Thembi Ngubane is a South African woman who, she's what we would say, she's sort of a personal journalist. She's telling the story of her own life. She's the last woman in the book. And Thembi was diagnosed with AIDS when she was about 16 years old, and she recorded a diary of living with AIDS. In each part of the book, it's also not just about that one woman in that particular biography, but about other trailblazers along with her, or other milestones in that particular part of journalism that I'm talking about. I'm hoping that Fearless Female Journalists will first of all give anybody who reads it, not just young readers, an understanding of what journalism's role is supposed to be, because I think that's been lost. I want people to understand what women have had to do to be in this role. We've come a long way, and it's wonderful we've come so far, but there are always battles to be won, and I want readers to understand that.